you say from 2014 to 2020, what did you start doing differently, coming into probably one of the most challenging windows historically, for individuals in this country at that point in time to maintain the path that you were on, where for a lot of people, that was the point where, their mental health struggled. People struggled with that. So what did that look like for you? And what are some of the changes that you made that ultimately became kind of cornerstone coping mechanisms for you?
One, I began to honor that although 12 step was giving me something, that I started to honor the parts of me that would be triggered by certain spaces within 12 steps. So, in particular, there was a moment where, like, I've said there's always been this element of feeling not quite as comfortable as I would want to be, but also knowing that I needed to, have an element of surrender in my recovery in general. And so as I got my pride and ego and my insecurities more um, under control and soothed, I guess you could say, the discomfort that I felt around, how do I feel in this space actually? Like there's no insecurity that's rooted in it. It's just how am I feeling in this environment? And there was a point in time where I felt particularly triggered in the room.
Mhm.
It was something political had just happened. This is when Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are running for the presidency. And so there was just a lot that had happened that day. Something had happened, and I was about to go to a meeting like I always do. And I just honored that I just need a safer space. Like, I need a space where the conversations about the political climate and, things that are going on in our communities is more open, because in 12 step, it's very much so to the premise of alcoholism, not drinking just for today, stories, support. There's really no outside conversations. And I can understand the reasons why, but I needed more within that.
Yep.
So when fast forward when COVID hit and the pandemic and everything went online, my the recovery world that I knew went from not just being, these couple of churches down the road to anywhere in the United States and in the world. So to me, I'm
Yep.
like, wow, this is a new realm of, I wonder who's in California getting sober. I'm thinking about like this bigger picture. And so that was where I started to see that because of all that was going on there was more of a focus on diverse and inclusive recovery spaces. For the meeting that I went to was for women of color
Mhm.
through a platform called She Recovers. They had a Facebook group and they had a meeting every Saturday. And that was my first, introduction. I remember the first meeting of that. It was on Zoom because, everything was the pandemic at that time. And there was probably I want to say 100. It was an overwhelming amount of little Zoom icons with just little black and brown faces. And I was like, oh
That's awesome.
my goodness, like this is never had seen that before. And I know we're virtual, but it was just so crazy to see all of these black and brown women showing up at their level of recovery. And so I get how if you're not connected at all, it could be hard to find those spaces and know how to move through. But because I think I had some time under my belt, me going into finding what I was looking for was a little bit easier because I knew what I was looking for. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so, yeah, at that time I was like, wow, this is opening up my recovery to have me think about what really is going to help me, go the course of life with the support that I actually need. And there's some other platforms that have come out. This is when I start connecting with sober influencers through hashtags. I would search sober black women on
Mhm.
Instagram and try to search for people and would actually find people because we were all online trying to find what in the world we were
Each
going to
other.
do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. I appreciate you guys listening to the Stack and Days podcast. I hope this episode added value to your recovery and wellness journey. Before we go our separate ways, let's connect on social. You can find us on TikTok and Instagram at Stack and Days or via the website www.stackanddays.com. By supporting the show, you can play a direct role in amplifying people of color in their pursuit of recovery. The easiest way to do that is to subscribe or hit the follow button. This way, you'll never miss an episode, all while playing an active part in creating the ecosystem where diverse voices and healing matter. This show is for the purpose of education and connection and is not a replacement for therapy or recovery care. For more information on the resources and support available, take a look at SAMHSA and some other resources shared in the description. Until we meet again, be well, one day at a time.